Welcome to Masterpiece Tarot. Here you'll find timeless messages to guide your soul's awakening. If you're here, trust. You are meant to be. Please show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing. These help support my mission of creating more peace on Earth. All right, collective, welcome in today. I'm going to go ahead and get a message from Spirit. All right, Spirit, what kind of message would you like to bring through for the collective? What kind of message today, Spirit? A message of warning. Okay, got a message of warning. Spirit would like to warn us of something, something to be on the lookout for. Okay, yeah, let's see. Let's use this deck. Ooh, excuse me, guys. Little sneeze. Okay, Spirit, what is it that you would like to pass along to the collective? Okay, guys, so, take genders as they apply. You can always flip the roles if you need to. Take whatever messages resonate, leave the rest. Okay. Overall situation, the devil. Okay. Being warned about something dark, something that is of the darkness. This could be deceit, this could be deception, this could be other things like, attachments, harmful attachments. There's an opportunity to cut it off with the King of Swords. There's a challenge, and we have a Queen of Swords. Okay, we have counterparts out here today. All right, this could be a couple that we're looking at, or just counterparts, perhaps working together to cut off this devil. What's an action to take? Oh, the Two of Cups. Wow, that's quite a spread there, collective. All right, so maybe love conquers all. Love conquers the devil, right? I don't know. Do we even need to draw? No, we will. Let's get some clarifiers out here. Use this little deck here. All right, guys. Clarify this devil, Spirit. What else do we need to know about the devil? What else? What else, Spirit? Okay, we have a Hermit. We have a Queen of Wands. And a Page of Cups. All right. So what else can we know about the devil? I think in this case, maybe the devil is something that these two individuals, whoever you are, collective, you could, be represented by this Queen of Wands or perhaps the Page of Cups. Okay, so the fire sign feminine, a water sign masculine here. But this could represent you. And the Hermit card could represent, this could, perhaps indicate that you are spending some time looking within, doing some inner work right now. So what I'm getting here is that, sometimes we confront the devil when we are doing our inner work. Sometimes, this is an energy that lives within us all. We all are made up of light and dark. And so at this time, collective, if this is resonating for you, you may be, you know, looking within and working on uncovering aspects of self that are maybe self-sabotaging, that you recognize are toxic in some way, either to yourself, maybe to others, uh, or just in general, like to your environment. Let's see if we can get some more info here. So we've got a Queen of Swords. What else can we know? A King here, first of all. So this is our opportunity, is the King of Swords. And because these are counterparts, I'm inclined to think that invoking some of the masculine sword energy is the opportunity here. So let's look at it through that lens here. Okay, we've got a Seven of Swords. We've got a Seven of Wands, so 7-7 could be significant, and a Nine of Cups. Okay, so embodying this masculine sword energy, this is actively taking it upon yourself to have good boundaries, to remove the things that are toxic in your life that may be contributing to this devil energy. Okay, so any way in which you are involved in or aware of or being affected by anything that is less than, you know, honest and upfront. So any kind of deception, sneakiness. This could be in the workplace, this could be at home, this could just be the way that you think about yourself. You know, sometimes just our very thoughts can be dark. We can think negative things about ourselves, you know. And so this is an opportunity to recognize and remove, perhaps even replace some of those, you know, less than helpful thoughts, associations. Okay. Yeah, even workplaces or jobs. All right, so with that, I'm getting a sense that there's a real need to defend yourself during this time of cutting off the devil. So this is, again, an active kind of an energy, okay? So being assertive, stating very clearly what your boundaries are, standing behind those boundaries. It's also taking an active role in perhaps, you know, changing some of those destructive thoughts that you may be having. All right, so that could look like doing a cognitive behavioral therapy worksheet, for example. It could look like writing a love letter to yourself if you find that you're having a lot of negative thoughts about yourself. This could be emphasizing to your loved ones, you know, what your boundaries are, what you're willing to tolerate, what you're not willing to tolerate. And this defensive stance is all in service of your Nine of Cups, what it is that makes you feel fulfilled, happy, satisfied in your own life. So yeah, the opportunity is to embody that masculine energy of being assertive, cutting off what's not working, okay, especially with regard to anything dark that may be bringing your vibration down at this time. The challenge is to do with the Queen of Swords. So let's look at this. What's challenging here about this feminine sword or air sign, air energy? What is the challenge here? The Fool, the Emperor, and the Four of Pentacles. Okay, so whenever we're taking these actions to assert ourselves, to have our boundaries, to deal with devil energy in any way, this can also be, attachments to, um, things in the material like shopping or food or watching too many, binge watching too frequently or something. Okay, so the challenge here, it may be that, with the Fool, this is about new beginnings. Sometimes we need to be persistent uh, in doing things. Sometimes we have to do things over, the same thing over and over and over again. It's always fun to do things that are novel. It's fun to seek new distractions and exciting things, and that's a wonderful thing to do in life and quite necessary. But in the context of this reading, where we're talking about, you know, um, addressing devil energy, um, sometimes we just need to persist. We need to stick with something until we see a change. Okay, it's not going to always happen overnight. So I think that's what the Fool, how the Fool kind of speaks to this Queen of Sword energy. Another challenge with the Queen of Sword, if we're talking about the feminine quality of knowing what the truth is, holding that standard, that moral standard, that ethical standard within, sometimes feminine energy is more about receptivity and less about taking action. But there are times where, even if you're a feminine energy or you're tempted to deal with the devil in a more passive way, um, there's a warning here that it's actually necessary to embody more masculine energy at times. So, like in our culture, sometimes there's a um, expectation, and this isn't across the board, but let's say like at work, maybe you work in what if you work in a male-dominated kind of a industry, for example, or you're in leadership, and we all know that there are oftentimes in many types of work environments, you know, masculines sometimes hold more leadership roles. So there might be a situation where you're confronted with a moral dilemma in the workplace, and you might naturally tend to want to take a more feminine or quiet or passive stance. Perhaps you decide, well, I'll just write a letter to so and so. It might actually be more beneficial to speak up in that moment at the board meeting or, um, during that team huddle or, um, right, in your online group. Um, it might be necessary to really embody some of that emperor energy, take charge, take control in addressing whatever toxicity you're looking at. Okay. And then here with the Four of Pentacles, this card is about stability. It's about holding on to what you're building. And sorry about the little ding there. Maybe that's a confirmation. But there is, with this card being about stability, and we're looking at Queen of Swords, again, um, the challenge might be in maintaining this frequency of, standing your ground, holding this line in a way. Okay, again, holding the line means sometimes holding the line over time, laying down a boundary, but needing to be consistent and persistent with it. The challenge may be in simply being consistent, sending um, the message over and over again and not wavering and waffling on that, especially if you're dealing with a moral dilemma, an ethical dilemma, something that you're seeing that isn't in alignment, okay, with the highest good. And now here, this action to take, I see here very clearly, you know, this Two of Cups in the context of this reading is perhaps about invoking both your masculine and feminine, okay, sword, king and queen of sword energy in equal measure, okay, pulling on both of these in some kind of balanced way. And the connection between these two cards here, and really just this whole spread with the king and queen right in the middle. You know, we see on one end of the spectrum fear. The devil represents a lot of fear, okay, being attached, you know, being chained to something. This is almost the opposite. This is sort of, you know, being liberated, being free, okay, to love, to experience the beauty in another, being looked over by this winged creature here. All right, so the action to take, we've kind of just done a little background, but let's see what Spirit has to say about it. What does Spirit have to say about this? What would you like for us to know here about this Two of Cups, Spirit? All right, there's an Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so feed this maybe, you know, with some material, like give to this effort in a material way. Oh my goodness, a Two of Cups. Two of Cups clarifying our Two of Cups. It's a strong confirmation there. Okay. Whoa, all right. These are really powerful cards here. Yeah, we're saying taking action. And there's the confirmation on that. Okay, so giving to, receiving from, this motion. Okay, so this is a message of warning. And the message seems to be address these problems in a balanced way, invest in making the change. Okay, and this is really looking truly like a counterpart situation. So what I'm getting here, collective, is whatever this devil is, if you're resonating with this, whatever this devil is, and I don't know why I drew a fourth card, but I did. Whatever the devil is here that you are dealing with in your life, collective, if you have a counterpart, this message seems to be saying to me, deal with it with your counterpart. Work on it as a team. Okay, if you're holding something within yourself that you think maybe is your own problem, that you think has really nothing to do with them, I'll deal with it on my own. This might be a warning, okay? If you try to go it alone, okay, you might not be as successful as you would be if you were to, you know, maybe let your counterpart in, ask for the support to address this devil. If this is an addiction that you're dealing with and you would rather just keep it quiet and keep it to yourself, there might be a message here about asking for support, trusting another person with a secret, asking another person for ideas about how you might overcome this devil. Or if this is a very close counterpart, maybe somebody you're living with, you know, maybe asking for an accountability partner or something like this. You can ask for an accountability buddy from somebody you don't live with. Okay, and the warning seems to be, don't go it alone. We all need support. These toxic devil energies can be quite powerful, but it's nothing that a Two of Cups or counterpart situation cannot overcome. Okay, so that is the message for today. I can't believe these cards. Sometimes the cards come out and they are just it just could not be any more clear. Here we have the counterparts. This might even be a devil that the counterparts are facing together, which may be the case. This might be something that is affecting a partnership. There could be devil energy that is pushing on a counterpart situation. But what is the answer? What is the answer? Well, clearly the answer is, it's hard to hold these bigger cards. Okay, lean in to your Two of Cups. Okay, draw on the Two of Cups. And I do want to just show these cards because here they came out. And you know, this card came out in the middle with the Pentacle here. Invest. Invest in your love. The more you invest into your love, you know, it's that wolf you feed thing, okay? So the more you invest in the source of your strength, which is your partnership, your counterpart connection, the stronger you become, the more likely you are to overcome any kind of devil energies for the collective I'm reading for today. Okay, so that's your message. I really hope that that was helpful. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, collective. Bye for now.